Hello and welcome once more to ToughTalk on C.Hub magazine with myself, Faustina. And today I'll be speaking with Annprincess, who, the daughter of 27-year-old daughter of Liberian warlord called Prince Yormie Johnson. Many of you may have heard about him, or if you have been into history of Africa, especially the wars, you remember the Liberian wars that took lives of so many people and actually got the country torn apart. So today we are going to hear the life-changing story of a young woman, 27 years old, just 27 years old, but she has been through a lot. But all what she's been through has turned her into a strong woman who is doing lots of things and using her creativity, her talent to also touch lives. So welcome to the show, Annprincess.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you. If you can tell me a little bit from what I know that it was at the age of 7 that you experienced the war in Liberia, and of course your dad was involved in the whole thing, the whole war with the whole thing going on in the country, and you know, and yeah, let me leave it for you to tell our audience what you can remember or what you know.
I was actually just a few months old when we moved from Liberia to Nigeria due to the war. And the war was because of my father. So I remember moving from Liberia to Nigeria, and then I remember living in the house that my father took us to. This big white house with a fence around. And I remember being a lot of people. We were a lot of women and we were a lot of children. And that was our home for many years.
Yeah. So at what point did you and your mom decided to leave for Norway, where you are now?
Yeah. My mom. I just have to explain the relationship between me and my mom and my father. There wasn't any love between them. My mom chose to go with my father because it was either go with him or stay in a country where people were looking for her and everybody who knew my father. So she was forced to leave with my father. So the dynamic between my mom and my father were never a good one. And my mom's a rebel. She's stubborn. So when my father would tell my mom something, she wouldn't agree with it. And when he would treat the other women or the other children badly, she would tell him to stop. So he was often really mean towards her. And at a point, she couldn't take it anymore. So and on this very day he was out. He was out because some argument with him and the police took him away from the house. So on this very day my mom saw the opportunity to leave.
Mm-hmm. Could you give me some a background of the war in Liberia as at that time and how your dad was involved in it?
Yeah, so my mom and my father actually met in the military, and it was okay at the beginning because they were on our country's side. They were working for our country. Okay. But my father didn't believe. He didn't like the beliefs of Samuel Doe, okay, because he was a dictator. So he wanted to change what Samuel Doe was doing to our country. Mm-hmm. So my father left the military, that was the national military, and he went to the rebel side. And then he got a group of people and to protest or to make a plan to attack Samuel Doe. And that's how it all started. It became two sides. So the national military versus my father's
And
side.
Your dad must have been a young man as at that time as well. Do you have
Yeah, I don't remember when he joined the military, but he joined the military at a really young age. And he was in the military for a long time before he went over to the other side.
Okay. So when the war began, it became two sides. The country, the government, Samedo and his people, and your dad and his people. How far did this war, affect the entire nation? Like today, is your dad celebrated? How has history judged him?
We've actually followed his story because we moved a long time before he became a politician. So we were told that he was remorseful after the war.
Mm-hmm.
He found God, and he tried to win the trust from the people.
No, sorry, let me get you right. After the war, when the war ended, I think the war started in what that was 86, I believe. Was it?
Yes, it started. The Civil War started then. Yes.
Around 1980, 86? What year? I'm not sure.
I think maybe it ended in 86.
Okay, ended in 86.
Or yeah.
So when the war ended in 86, your dad still, became a civilian and joined politics. Is that correct?
After the war, my father, he felt remorseful, and then he found God. I think in a little a little short period, I think he was a priest also, or preacher man, and then he went into politician, where he is today.
Okay.
And they forgave him. Liberia forgave him, I think.
Okay. So what's your relationship with him now? Any relationship?
There is no relationship with me and my father. I haven't spoken to him for many years. I think maybe 10 or 12 years. So I have no connection with him whatsoever. I have some connections with my siblings on Facebook.
Okay.
But not with him.
Back to when yourself and your mom had to leave Liberia. I know you said something about your mom not, accepting some of the things that your dad was doing or believed in. So at what point and for what reason did your mom, felt that her life and your life were at risk and had to take that decision to leave?
Because we weren't living, we were surviving. There was a lot of stuff that happened in that house. For instance, my father would arrest my mom. He would put my mom in jail. And when she was gone, I was 4 or 5 years old, and the other women, the other mothers didn't take care of any other children but theirs. So when I was alone, I used to find food for myself. I used to put myself to sleep. I used to take care of myself at a young age. So my mom, that wasn't what she wanted for me. And also, there was a child who died in that house because his mom wasn't there to take care of him, and no other women wanted to take care of anybody else's children. So we weren't really living in that house. We were just surviving. We were prisoners, and my mom didn't want that for me. Okay. She was given the choice to leave by my father, but then I would have to stay. So my father said leave, but she has to stay. Princess has to stay, and that wasn't a choice for my mom.
Okay. Now, your mom wasn't the only wife, I believe.
No.
Okay. Do you have other siblings from your mom?
Yes, I have three other brothers, but it's with another. My mom was married before.
Okay, but not from your dad.
Not from my dad.
Okay. So when you left Liberia for Norway, do you remember how how was it? Was it what you expected? I know you were young at that time, but do you remember anything? The movement, the journey, and how you got to Norway?
After Nigeria, we lived a little short period in something called a guest house, what the UN put us in. And I was actually having fun there because I could play with the children. My mom was working very hard, so I had food and I had clothes, so I thought everything was good. And then one day, a car came to pick us up, and we were leaving, and I didn't understand where we were going. And then we were at the airport, and I still didn't understand where we were going. So I really didn't have any expectations of the country that we're going to. I remember when we landed in Norway, I saw this escalator, this stairs that's automatic. It blew my mind. I was like, what is this? And then I saw other people's complexion, different complexion than ours. And I was just like, oh, wow, where are we? And then I saw snow for the first time. I think I was in shock because I didn't really have any emotion. I was just like, oh, what is happening here?
Okay. Then growing up in Norway, and beginning to realize who you were, why you had to leave your country and to live in Norway. What are the questions that keep coming to your mind as you grow?
Why am I so different? That was actually that was the main obstacle for me. My mom probably many other things, but for me it was because when I was in Africa, I wasn't aware of the fact that I'm black, because everybody's black, so we don't talk about being black. But when I came to Norway, that was the only thing that people could see. It was the difference, the different body parts, the color, and people started pointing it out. So that was really difficult to learn about myself, and to explain to people why I looked the way I looked, because I didn't know.
Okay.
So I really
have you ever had to defend yourself about your being who you are in regards to who your dad was or the role your dad played in Liberia? Has anything like that happened to you ever?
No, thankfully. I live in a country where people are really scared of talking about anything that's controversial. So that topic hasn't really gotten up. But I think now, I've gotten some messages now from people back home telling me to leave it alone, and to let the past be the past. But in Norway, no, I haven't had any moments where I had to defend.
Have you ever had to try to hide your identity? Ever?
No. I think my mom has had a difficult, a more difficult time being open about who she is, because there's a lot of Liberian people here who know the story. So I think she's more careful. But me, no.
Okay. Tell me your experience with your mom, yourself and your mom, both of you, your experience having to adjust, settle down, and make a life in Norway all this while.
How we adjusted to the differences.
Yeah, I like you to tell me the story, the experience. Give me some picture of how it's been, for the years that, having to come to, as a refugee and adjusting and, normalizing your stay and stuff like what. has life been like?
I think that we hit jackpot when it came to the country that we moved to, because Norway in the beginning had this program where they followed us from when we came to a really long time. So they helped us join a church. They helped us pay for an apartment. They helped me into school. So they really took care of us. So my mom, I think she had a really nice transition into this new environment. It became a little bit more difficult when she started, going to school and working, because then the community or the government didn't pay for that much anymore. So she had to pay for everything. So I think that was difficult for her. For me, my mom always pushed me into being social with people. So I've always been social with people. And I'm really good at adapting. So that hasn't really been an issue. Learning the language, learning their sports. I learned how to ski.
Mm.
So that was the transition, being fitting into this country wasn't really that difficult physically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Apart from going to school for yourself, have you been working? Have you had work experiences and stuff like that?
Now?
No, ever.
Yeah, I started working when I was 16 in a store. So I stayed there for a long time. So I started working till I was 16 till now. So now I work in a internet company. I also have a bachelor in psychology, and I have another bachelor in psychotherapy.
Okay.
So
Now,
yeah,
yeah.
busy.
Okay. So let's get into your music now. At what point did you discover that you have something there to, with music?
To explore it. Yeah, it was actually my friend who told me that we were singing to this song, and then she was like, "Oh, you have a good voice." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then I started thinking, "Oh, maybe I could do something with this voice of mine." And where I come from, status as a young age was really important. If you were either rich or pretty or whatever, then people would like you, and you would be popular. And I really wanted to be liked. I really wanted people to like me. So I thought that if I entered a music contest and win, then people would like me. So I practiced. I listened to a lot of Celine Dion songs so that I could reach those high pitch. And then I was like, I'm ready. And then I entered a music contest, and the judges were like, no, you're not ready. And I was really heartbroken, because then this means that I didn't win. People are not going to like me. I failed. So that's where I started. And then from there, I just started writing. And for a long time, I wrote music and I sang music to be popular. But then after people were like, no, you can't sing, you're not ready, music became a kind of therapy for me to cope with people telling me no all the time.
Why did you want, why was it important for you for people to like you?
Because I grew up alone. When we came to Norway, I was alone most of the time, because my mom was either working or she was either at school, and you have to work long hours to be able to have any kind of money. So I was alone, and I came from being surrounded with so many people to being alone.
Yeah.
So it was just, I didn't have anybody to tell me that I was good or good enough. So I needed that.
Okay. You released the music recently. Are you satisfied with
Yes.
that? Are you happy?
Yes, I'm ready. Yes, I'm satisfied with Survive, which is the recent single, because It tells a story. It tells a story from my heart. So yeah, I'm satisfied.
Why did you call it Survive? Why, what is it about? What inspired you for, to create that music, and why do you name it Survive?
It's because it was about a relationship that I was in. And my past has colored everything in my life. So my past has also covered how I look at men. So I do tend to date people who are not good for me. So Survive is about a relationship that I was in where it wasn't good. It was emotionally damaging. But because you don't believe that you deserve anything better, you stay with that person. So Survive was I chose the title Survive because it means that, you know what, we're not going to make it this time. I need to leave.
Okay. So going by what you just told me now, there is elements of, will I say, damage to your psyche or emotion that happened because of, your background, your dad, your mom, the
Yeah.
war. Tell me
Yes.
about it.
Like what I mean by when I say it's damaged, because for me, my first relationship to a man was a unstable one with my father. And it goes both ways. If you have a damaging relationship with your mother, that's how you're going to view women. So that's how I view men, because I don't have anything stable to look for in a man. I don't know what a loving relationship with a man feels like, because I didn't have that with my father. So I don't know what I'm looking for. So I just have to try and fail, and I keep failing. But yeah, and because of my past, because I don't have that kind of protection, where I feel like if something bad happens, I'm protected.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't have that, I'm not really good at letting myself feel. And I'm not good at letting people see emotions, see my
I
emotion.
was gonna point there. I was gonna ask you, do you think you withhold a lot?
Yes, I don't trust people because I haven't been given any reason to. And that's sad, but yeah.
Do you hurt? Does it hurt you? Do you think about your dad and you're hurting emotionally?
I don't know my father, so I'm not hurt by what he did, but I'm hurt by the fact that I was robbed a stable childhood.
Mm-hmm.
That it makes me angry that parents can make you make decisions that will ruin a child's future. And it makes me angry that people don't think about that.
Okay. Now we survive. Do you think there's you're gonna find some healing for yourself from your music?
Yes, I already do. So every time I overthink, I just sing, and I'm getting better at telling people how I feel. But through my music, it's so much easier for me to just, this is how I feel, listen to it, and then they know how I feel. So it's just better that way than to have a conversation about feelings.
What is the bigger picture with your music?
The focus now is to be able to live on my music, to be able to work every day with something that gives me passion, that gives me, purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal right now.
Okay. Yeah. So coming closer to my final questions, if you happen to meet your dad now, what will you tell him?
What would I tell him? I would tell
Oh,
him
before you answer that question, would you want to meet your dad?
no.
Why?
Because I don't have any reason to. if it was like, if you meet your dad, then you'll get this, or you'll get closure, or you'll feel more happy, then I would. But it doesn't really give me anything. If I meet my dad, it wouldn't mean anything to me. I don't feel like he needs to say sorry. I don't feel like he needs to hug me to feel better. Like I don't need him to do anything for me. So I don't really have any reason to meet him.
What if somebody has told you before that you look like your dad? Wouldn't you want to see this man you look like?
My mom says I look like my dad.
Exactly.
Yeah. And she says that I have some qualities like my dad. You're stubborn like your father, Anne. Yeah, so yeah.
Okay, and that now brings me to the question, are there no things, are there nothing in your mind or your heart that you would like to find out from your dad? For example, what if he's being misrepresented? What if his mission was misunderstood? What is there nothing in your heart that at least you would like him to explain, to at least, you know, um, reduce whatever negative feeling or thoughts that you have of him? Wouldn't you want to give him a chance to defend his decisions?
No.
Just in case, if...
The thing is that we've been in Norway for a very long time. He's called me one time since we've been here. If he wants to say something, he always asks either his other women or his children to contact me. So every time I'm in contact with my siblings, they always say, "Father wants to talk to you. Father wants to talk to you. You need to talk to our father." If he wanted a relationship, then we would have somewhat of a
No,
relationship.
I want to separate this question now from him, of if he wanted to. I don't want it to be like want or not. But what I'm saying is this: if for any reason you meet him, do you not think you have something to ask him? Whether he wants it or not, but from your own point of view, is there nothing you think he needs to explain to you?
No, I don't feel like he needs to explain anything, because everything's been done. His actions, like if even though he was misrepresented, he still did those things to people. But I don't feel any unresolved issues with him that he needs to, like, I'm already messed up in my head. It's already done. So but I do think that we're going to meet someday.
So
Because
when you meet him, what will you say to him?
I will say, "Hello, Father. How have you been?" And then we'll just take it from there. I guess it's so far-fetched. It's a man that's, I don't know him, so I don't know. He would just be a person that I meet, and then we would just have to take it from there.
Okay. Generally, as a person, what how what do you represent?
I represent kindness and understanding towards other human beings.
Mm-hmm.
To try to accept that we are different.
Okay.
But I would say that I represent kindness. I even have it tattooed on my arm.
And now you don't want to be kind to your dad.
I could be kind to him. I'm not. I really don't. I don't hate him. I don't have any bad thoughts towards him. I just don't have any relationship with him or any reason to meet him. But I don't wish him any bad thing. I just don't know him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me, Survive the music. How is it doing in the chat? And what is the general message of Survive? How do you want people to receive it?
The music has been, people I think enjoy it. It's something that people can relate to, and it's easy, and it's meaningful. I think people really enjoy it. And I really do hope that people take from it the fact that don't stay in a relationship that you're not happy with. You deserve love, so go find real love and be happy with the person that you're with. Yeah.
Okay. How is your mom?
What did you say?
How is your mom?
My mom is fantastic. She is getting really old, so she's retiring in a few months.
Okay. Wow. That's a remarkable story from you. Very strong lady, and you've moved on with your life,
Yes.
regardless of whatever, isn't it?
Yeah, I really have. We really have, me and my mom. We've never looked back, and we just keep moving.
That's the spirit. Would you ever want to return to Liberia?
Yes, we have to, because we have to see my brothers and her sons. So that's we have to do that.
Okay. Would you be interested in politics? Well,
In politics?
yeah, Liberian politics.
Yeah, I am interested in Liberian politics. We do watch the news every day. My mom watches the news every day. So yeah, I follow Liberia, and I follow their process and their struggles still.
So at the moment, what do you think about the nation now? Has Liberia healed? Are they in the path of progress or still in the path of healing?
I think that it's still it's not moving, but it's not going backwards. But I don't really know what they could do to make their situation better. I mean, there's no war anymore, so that's a good thing. But like we hear stories from my brother every day. Like they're struggling to have money enough to eat. So that's the situation there, and they have to make money doing small businesses. So yeah, it's not ideal. So I don't know how we're going to move forward.
Okay, so what would be your motivation to want to go into politics in Liberia?
To make people, how can I say it? We could do so much more if we only believed that we could.
Okay.
If we only work together, and we're fighting ourselves. We're not even fighting another country, we're fighting ourselves. So my motivation would just be to tell people that other countries are moving on and we're not really doing anything. So we need to make a change.
We need to make a change. That's a message for everyone in Africa, actually, because
Yes.
just like you said, I think every other continent is moving on except Africa.
Yeah.
That brings us to the end of the interview. It's been a remarkable time talking with you Annprincess, and I wish you every luck, and I'll be following your story until when one day you become the president of Liberia.
Maybe one day.
I know. Thank you.
Thank